MMA Rants and Raves, UFC 113, Matt Mitrione versus Kimbo Slice. You know, guys, this was a disappointing fight. If you look at the fight, I mean, you could just see that one guy just totally outclassed the other guy. Now, let me talk about Slice for a minute. This is a guy who's a street fighter. A guy who fights with bare knuckles, no rules, all right? No referees, no judges, nothing. So he's on the streets fighting with people, you know? And it can be just to be a sport, or it can be you have a grudge against someone, or whatever reason fights happen. That's the type of atmosphere that he was in. All his career, you could say. And then you have another fighter who's gone through the schooling. He's gone through the things necessary to become a professional fighter. And you have a guy here in Matt Mitrione who's played 6 seasons in the NFL. 250-pound guy. He's young, strong, he has good cardio. And then you have the other guy who's a street fighter, who hasn't gone through the schooling that you need. And you know something? Fighting as a sport is just like anything else as a sport. If you're in the NFL, you go through college and learn the sport. If you're in baseball, you go to the minor leagues. You know, I mean, if you're in any other sport, they have leagues to get you where you have to go to become pro. And in this sport, it's the same thing. If you're a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu master, you went through Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu Academy, or you learn karate. You go to these camps, you learn boxing through coaches and ex-boxers. You go to places to get the training that you need. And this guy has a pedigree of the training that he had to have. He went to study what he had to do. And that is, especially since it's the NFL, the guy is an athlete, you know. And everything that he had shown. Now, of course, Slice learned things, but he learned it late. And it's hard to learn things when you're learning them late. He's used to doing the things that he does. He's a brawler. He's a street brawler that fights with bare knuckles. That's the type of guy he is. And he's going up against a guy who's bigger, stronger, quicker, and younger, with better cardio. And let me tell you something. I give all the respect in the world to Kimbo Slice because, you know, he's a guy that's overachieved. It's obvious. You know, he surprised a lot of people. It was all heart and all determination to get where he has to go. Mentally, he has it. He has the will and he has a desire, but physically, he just can't do it. He doesn't have the skills to beat top-level guys. And Mitrione, you know, is a guy who's climbing his way up. He's not a top-level guy, but he has a background as being a great athlete. You know, he's got the size. He's got the confidence. He's got the skills to be a fighter. And there's something else going up against Slice. You're looking at the greatest heavyweight division in UFC history. I mean, there's monsters in this division right now. And he's coming in at a time, not only it's in the twilight of his career as a fighter, he's an older guy now. He's also undersized. He's only 225 pounds. Most of these guys, the real top heavyweights in the UFC right now, are 250, 260, 270. You know, these are big guys and loaded with talent. So his timing is off as far as when he's emerging to finally get into the UFC. And here's the deal, guys. If you look at these two fighters, if you're just talking about this fight in general, and of course any other fighters that he's going to be fighting in the future, heart and determination and toughness are only going to take you so far. If you're going to go up against someone who's a better athlete, someone who has better cardio, who's younger, who's bigger than you are, and who's more well-rounded, it's just not going to be enough. You're not going to be able to defeat this guy. It's not like you have a team like in other sports. Somebody can pick up the slack. You have other guys with talent and some other guys that are not that talented. You see it in sports all the time. You can have a great quarterback, but the wide receivers aren't that great, or your defense isn't that good. You know, you could still win, and you can get far. You could win a Super Bowl. I mean, it's happened because you have a team. But you physically have to beat a guy. You know, this is a combat sport. And let's talk about this fight. Even the takedowns. Mitrione was smiling, laughing at the guy the whole time. It was like he was letting him take him down. Because look what happened. He said, okay, take me down, and I'm going to submit you. And, you know, obviously, you know, Mitrione has to work on his submission skills. He had that that triangle choke on, but it was too close to his ankle to get the leg over, so he couldn't put enough pressure on the neck in order to lock it in and choke him out, which is what you're trying to do with a triangle. But to his credit, the fact that a guy that big has submission skills, it's pretty impressive. Because let's face it, guys, as you climb your way up the weight class ladder, guys become less well-rounded. The more well-rounded, flexible cardio guys are in the lower weight classes. I mean, it's evident. So if you have a guy that can even do submissions, it's impressive. So he may get better at that. I mean, he's a guy that can learn. If you could do 6 seasons in the NFL and then, have some success in a combat sport, it's impressive. So I was impressed with his performance. But, it's just that as far as this fight, he was letting Slice take him down. It just seemed that way because he was just setting him up for what was coming. I thought he was going to submit him, and it's because of this. Like I said, Slice is all about heart and determination. That's what's really driving this guy. And you could see he doesn't have the quickness. He was just brutalizing him with leg kicks. He had no answer for it. He couldn't get inside. He even clipped Mitrione. It didn't even have any effect on him. It just seemed that not only didn't he have any respect for his takedowns, he didn't even have respect for his stand-up game, and that's what Kimbo Slice lives by. So, he was totally outclassed in the fight. It was disappointing, but like I said, it was kind of expected. I would like to know what you thought about this fight. I would like to know what you thought about all the great fights that happened in UFC 113. It was a very exciting, very stacked card. Please leave your comments. Please rate this video and subscribe. And thank you for tuning in.